Right, I think we're on. Hello. I'm going to do something a bit different today. I'm just going to do about 35-ish minutes of standing with some weights. Just to do something a bit different and just to encourage you to do some upper body strength and weight work, which a lot of people are a bit reluctant to do. It doesn't have to be heavy weights. I've got a selection of, I've got sort of from 1 kilogram weight balls to 4 kilogram dumbbells, just because I've got them. You can use tins of beans, bottles of water. You can just use your own arms and legs if you want to, if you don't want to use weights, just to get the feel of it. And the benefit of weight work is it's going to build up your bone strength and your muscle strength. So for Pilates it's excellent because the stronger your bones and your muscles are, the better posture you're going to have. So it all works with Pilates. And it's 30 minutes of work. We're going to do 2 sets, so we'll do everything once and then we'll do it all again. Get you a bit warm, get your heart working a bit. It's not CV strictly because it's strength, it's not jumping around, but it will work your heart and your lungs. And it's just something extra to try. So, right, here we go. We'll warm up first. So roll the shoulders back and down. Roll the shoulders back and down, stand up nice and tall, and just turn your head. So we're just doing a quick loosen up through the body before we get going. Just getting the fluid flowing around the joints so you're not going to hurt yourself. Then you're going to look up and down. So I'll just turn sideways on. So you tuck your chin in, look down towards the floor, come back to centre, and then lift your chin, looking up towards the ceiling. Just working the front and back of the neck. Don't force this. If you haven't got much range of motion to start with, don't worry. It will increase as you start to loosen the joints. If you want to, you can have a chair handy. One of the exercises I'm going to get you to do is a wall squat. So you will need wall for that. If you don't want to do a wall squat and lean against the wall, you can just do freestanding squats. But it's just something just to work the legs and support the back. So come back to centre and just tilt your head to one side and level and over to the side. And I just want you to feel that stretch down the side of the neck here. Again, don't force your head over. Try and keep your shoulders down and slightly pull back. And then reset your head. And I want you to pretend your chin sat on the shelf. So you're just going to find your natural eye line straight in front of you, and then you're going to shrug. So you're going to pull your shoulders up and down. Quite often when we're using weights we tend to drop forward because we're so busy thinking about using the weights. So what I want you to imagine here is that you've got your back against a wall and you're just sliding your shoulders up and down. So just setting that posture for when we get the weights going, that we're not going to drop into a poor form and hurt ourselves. So just up and down. Then you can add a circle on, pulling the shoulders back and stretching across those chest muscles a little bit. And again, we're just trying to loosen the front of the shoulder and the chest muscles to allow us to have a nice upright posture. And then you can roll your shoulders the other way, and just to stretch across your back, if you just tuck your chin in so you're looking down, as those shoulders come forward, you're going to get a nice stretch between your shoulder blades. Just mobilising through the body before we start to work it. And I want you to give yourself a hug, wrap your arms around yourself, and then open out and pull the shoulders back. I just keep turning around just so you get different views. You just stay facing whichever way is comfortable for you. Just mind you don't knock anything off the shelf. Good. As your arms go out, don't pull them up. Again, one of the exercises we're going to do later is we're going to move the arms about. And we're going to make sure that we don't lift the shoulders. So it's a good time to practice now before you bring any weights in. So as your arms come out and back, don't hunch them up round your ears. Tighten the belly a little bit and squeeze your bum muscles. Hug in, stretch out. One more. And then you've got your arms down by your side, roll your shoulders back. Have your feet a smidge wider so you feel nice and steady. And then you're going to slide one hand down the side of your leg and up and stay on the other side. Now again, if I do this side arm, what I want you to make sure again is those shoulders stay slightly back. So as you go over, you don't drop forward. An image that we use sometimes is imagine a pane of glass just in front of your nose. So you don't want to drop forward because you'll bash your nose. A little bit to help, as you reach your hand down your leg, press the other foot down into the floor and it will just help you stabilise. And if you can then, bring the opposite arm over, just to add a little bit more weight into the stretch. You're looking for that long side to get a bit of stretch. And up and reset the shoulders, same on the other side. So press into the other foot, so the leg you're moving away from, push down into your foot and it will help you stabilise. And use the side muscles to pull you up. Really squeeze the waist on the side that you want to bring you up. Couple more. So I want you to start to feel that your body's working, responding, doing what you're asking of it. Alright, I'm going to flip the past the middle for a bit. We'll come back to the hips in a minute. As I want you to start using your feet, because you're going to be on them for the whole time, so we need to make sure that they're working properly. So I just want you to wriggle your toes around. You can be in trainers, you can be in bare feet, whatever feels comfortable for you. Make sure if you are in shoes that they're going to support you, so no flip-flops or slippers. And then just gently rock on your feet. You can lift the toes and heels if you want to, not at the same time, one at a time, or you can just rock forward and back, so your weight shifts, whatever feels right for you, but I want you to feel these lower leg muscles supporting your weight. If you are coming up off the heels and then off the toes as you rock forward and back, gradually make that lift a little bit bigger as you start to loosen the ankles. When you go back, try not to sit back at the hips. Use your bum muscles to support your weight as you pull the toes off the floor. And this is just getting the lower leg muscles to work. And then when you come back to your feet, try and put the weight in the centre of the feet. We tend to either, some people drop back into their heels and go a bit sway backed. Other people, especially women, tend to come forward onto the balls of the feet, and that puts you into an overarch. So find that centre point where you're right in the centre of your feet. And just relax your knees a little bit. You don't have to lock the knees while you're standing up. I want you to lift out of your feet. Okay, then we're going to do a few squats. So shoulders back and down. Let your arms come forward as your hips go back and you're sitting into a chair shape, and pull yourself up. Don't have to be deep squats to start with, or at all ever, but you're just starting to use your hips and your knees. Make sure you're using your hips as well as your knees. If you just let your knees come forward, you're going to feel it right in the bottom of that knee, because that's where all the weight is. You want to sit back into your hip. That's where the arms in front help, because you can reach forward as you sit your hips back, and it will just give you that balance. Good. So bit by bit, the squat gets a little bit lower. For you, it's all relative to what you've been doing, so you just feel that you sit a little bit lower, and then pull yourself up. So flexing at the hip and the knee and the ankle, and then straightening back up. And when you straighten, feel that your head, shoulders, hips and heels are all pretty much lined up. You're not dropping into any part of your body. Couple more, sit. Good. One more. Lovely. Okay, we'll start with the weight work. We'll start small movements I mean, not necessarily small weights. And we'll do it. Now I've got a piece of kit here. Hopefully it will work. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a minute of exercise and then 30 seconds of rest. We're going to do 10 exercises and then we're going to do the whole thing twice. That is the plan. Right, so grab your weights, whichever ones you're going to start with, if you're going to use them. And you can move between sets as you want to. So we're going to start off with shrugs, so I'll show it you first so you know what you're going to be doing. Arms down by your sides and you're going to pull your shoulders up and down, and it's that simple. Okay, start simple, stay simple. Are we ready? Let's go. So you're going to pull up and down, and I want you to feel your shoulder blades moving along your back, up and down. Nice and simple exercise to start with. And it's helping you to get strength across the top of the shoulders, and it also gives you, it's a good one to work on neck position, because we tend to drop forward, especially if you spend a lot of time driving or sitting at a desk. So just wind your head back a little bit if you need to, so your ears are directly over your shoulders. Up and down. Belly's pulled in, feet wide enough apart to feel nice and steady. Bum muscles working a bit, so every now and then you can just give your bum muscles a squeeze. Nobody will know, just squeeze them, make sure they're working. Yep, we're just working. And I'll use the 30 seconds rest just to show you the next one. Okay, so that's that one done. Next one we're going to do is an upright row. So you've got 30 seconds rest while I explain it. So upright row, you pull the shoulders back and down, and you bring the weights up to about chest level and the elbows out to the side. Try and keep your back nice and straight as if you're stood against a wall. And again, wind the neck in. So you're going to lift quite close to your body and down. When you lower them, don't drop, slowly lower. Alright, you ready? Let's go. Pull up and down. I'm not going to tell you how quick to do your reps, and I'm not going to tell you how many reps to do, because that's entirely up to the weight you're using and how you're feeling. I'm just going to remind you of technique and tell you when to stop. Shoulders back and down. So you're working across the top of your arms here and your shoulders, but use your back muscles as well. Don't drop forward. Always standing against that wall. Give your bum muscles a squeeze every now and then. Make sure they're working. Good. So go at a pace that suits you. Try not to go too quick, because remember you've got 2 sets. And you want to be pretty much the same on both sets. So if you go too quick on this set, you've got to do it again on the next set. Oh, you didn't tell me that before. That's it. What are you doing? Nearly done? It goes quick a minute, doesn't it? Excellent. Okay, 30 seconds rest and I'll show you the next one. I'm going to come down in my weights on the next one because my shoulders are rubbish. We're going to do an X. So we're going to do arms out to the side, bring them down, then arms out to the floor. So we've made an X shape. Again, back nice and strong, holding you up. Try not to drop in on yourself just because you're focused on your arms. So nice strong back. So out and down. Go to a lighter weight if you feel like you're forcing the arms up. Here we go. Out, out. So when you bring your arms up, your arms are about level with your ears or maybe a little bit behind. When you push out, push back slightly to work the back of the arms. A nice X shape. Push back a little bit so you feel the back of the arms working. I've gone to a lighter weight now, feels nice. I want to show you good form. If I use my heavy weights, my form's not very good, and that's not a good impression to give. Abs tight. Good. Surprising, even though they start off feeling quite light, the weights, they start to get a bit heavier. And all this standing and moving your arms and picking weights up, even light ones, is getting your back stronger. If you feel it in your lower back, pull your belly in. Make sure your tailbone is pointing down. Have a quick rest, that's them done. Right, back to my heavy weights now because I'm doing my biceps. So bicep curls, we've all done them before. Sometimes that means we're not very good at them because we get a bit complacent. So when you bend your arm, you're not bringing your elbow forward. So you've got your elbows against your body, and you'll bend, bring the weights up to your shoulder, and then take the weights all the way down until your arms straighten. And you'll feel that little work on the back of the arm. Okay, so pull up and down. Try not to lean back. If you find, and you'll see it if you go in the gym and see people do bicep curls, people tend to drop back. They're actually using their momentum from their lower back and their hips. Up nice and straight, and keep the back still. All the way up, all the way down. Doesn't matter how many reps you do, but you want to feel the effort as you lift and lower those arms. Chest is up. Give those bum muscles a squeeze. Good. So we're building up the strength in that torso, even while we're building up strength in the arms. Don't swing all the way down, so your arms get pretty much touching the side of your legs, and then you pull back up again. Having your arms straight makes it more difficult to lift because you're going full range. You're welcome. Quick rest. Next one, we're going to do some squats, so I'll stay with these weights again. You can do it with weights or without, so you're going to hold the weights chest level, sit into a squat. As you come up, you're going to push one arm up. So I'll do it this way on, so you're going to sit, come up, push up. Just one arm at a time, so you're going to alternate. Remember your squat, sit your hips back. It might feel a bit more awkward because you haven't got your arms going out in front for balance. So keep your body upright. Here we go. Sit back and down, drive up, push up. Same on the other side. So you sit down, you drive up through the legs, you reach up with the arm. Tighten your belly. When you're reaching up, don't lean your shoulders back. Your arm comes to the side of your head. If the weight is too heavy and causing you to lean, you put the weight down. Sit, push. Go at your pace. If I'm going too slow for you and you prefer to move quicker, do it. I've got to talk to you while I do mine. Sit, push. Sit, push. Good. Make sure you keep still through the hips. Good, have a quick rest. Then we've got some deadlifts to do. Unfortunate name, deadlifts. You need to keep your back straight. You can bend your knees if you want. So you're going to hinge at the hip, sliding the weights down your legs. I don't go any lower than my knees, I find that's enough. And you're using your bum muscles to pull you up. Just give them a good squeeze at the top. So you only hinge at the hip. Try to not let your back round, so you're not pulling your belly in. Are we ready? Over. Push your bum back and up, and then squeeze your bum as you bring those hips back in line with your heels. Really drag those weights up your legs. Really pull, using your bum muscles to pull up. You're going to squeeze them. You might want to go a bit lower, and for that I would bend the knees, but I find just going to the knees with the legs straight suits me better. Pull up. Chest is out, shoulders are back. Good. And this is really good for getting these bum muscles strong. Squeeze them. Drag those weights up. Don't let your arms drift forward because the weight is all in your shoulders there. Nice and close to your legs. Good. You might feel a bit warm doing this. As soon as you start bringing the legs and the bum muscles in, they're such big muscles, they generate a lot of heat. Good. Pull up. Lovely. Have a quick rest. And then we're going to stay bent over, we're going to do some rows. What I would suggest now though is you have one foot slightly forward of the other. Nice big gap between the feet, crossways. Bend the front leg and let the arms sit either side of your front knee. And then you pull your elbows back as if you're trying to get the weights into your armpits. And down. So I'll do it front on as well so you can see. You pull back. Elbows squeezing together at the top. And then release down. Don't drop. Here we go. Pull back. Squeeze the elbows together, keep the back nice and straight, and slowly release, sending the weights either side of your knee. Pull. You can change legs anytime you want to. So really think about pulling between the shoulder blades here. Weight on, mainly on the front leg. If it starts to get achy, switch legs. Doesn't matter which leg's in front. You want that slight lean of the hip here, but again, don't round the spine. Pull back, really get between those shoulders on this one. Squeeze the elbows back. Don't drop the arms, lower. Good. How are we doing? I think you do a good weight section, you can feel it, you could take on the world when you've done some weight work. Good. You're feeling control. Smashing. Okay, that's your bent over row done. Then we've got our wall squat. So find a bit of wall, Check you're not going to slide, so you want your feet on a nice surface so you can take your feet in front of you slightly and slide down the wall. Just sitting without a chair. I'll do it without, just to show you what I mean. So you're going to slide your back down the wall and you're pretty upright. It's difficult to do without a wall, rather than a normal squat where you sit quite back. And you push against the wall, come down to your squat position. Ideally, you've got your thighs parallel to the floor, but you might want to be a bit higher than that. Just push against the wall and lift yourself up a bit. But if you push against the wall with your back, push down on your feet, you'll feel these bum muscles working. And you're going to stay here for a bit. Check your knees face forward and squeeze your bum muscles. Pressing your back against the wall might help you sit a little bit lower. Very good to switch the legs on without putting any strain in the spine. You feel your legs starting to work, they might start to shake. Good. 15 seconds to go. Good tell you this, isn't it, watching me in a squat position? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now to come up, put your hands against the wall and walk yourself up so you don't slide onto your bum. Well done. That's your wall squat done. Next one you've got your rest. Next one we're going to do is our lat raises. So you've got your arm down by your side, keeping your shoulder down, you're going to move your arm away from your body. Now, this is, for me, this is quite a heavy weight for my shoulder, so I don't go full range. If I brought the weight out level with my shoulder, because it's a bit heavy, I would tilt. So that's not good full. So put the weight in whichever arm you want to start, and you're going to lift and lower. And I'm just going to do 30 seconds each side, if I can remember to watch the time. Lift and lower. Now set your feet, don't lean. So your head is staying still. Pulling that arm up and down. We'll do a few more and then we're going to switch sides. Okay, over to the other side. Lift and lower. Keep the hips square. It's a tough move this because you've got the whole length of your arm before you get to that weight, so it's a long way away from you. Don't worry if you don't go full height. Go as high as is right for you and keeps a good technique. I don't want this. Chest is lifted. Quick rest. And then we're going to do some swinging for the next one. I'm going to go down to a lighter weight for this one because I want to control it. So your feet are wider and you're basically doing a march, but just moving your arms. And what that does is gets these side muscles working. So I want you to think, even though your arms are moving, I want you to think about the spine staying straight. So imagine a cup balanced on your head. So even though you're going to be swinging the arms, your body is staying really still. Okay? Let's go. Swing. So if you find that it's too much with the weight in your hand, do it with just the weight of your arms. Pull the one arm back as you push the other arm up. And the side muscles are really having to work to stabilise the spine as these weights are moving. So you might want your feet a bit wider. Pull your belly button in. Keep squeezing those bum muscles and check your feet that you're not gripping tight with your toes. Weight is still in the centre of your feet and you're marching, pulling those arms forward and back. Good. Really good for the side abdominal muscles. Good. Stabilising the body. The good news is this is the last one, so all we've got to do is do it all over again. Okay. Right, quick rest, and then we're back to our shoulder shrugs. Grab a drink if you want one. So you're going to try and do it all again to the same intensity. Ten seconds. So remember, it's pulling the shoulders up and putting the shoulders down. Pulling up, going down. Okay, here we go. Up and down. Now check that you're not dropping forward Because familiarity isn't always a good thing in exercise. Oh, I know what I'm doing now. So a little squeeze of the shoulder blades, a little push forward of the breastbone, and a squeeze of the bum muscles. So you're pulling your shoulders up to your ears and releasing them down. Don't drop them. Ease them down. So we're trying to get that really good posture across the top of the shoulders. Good. Pull up and down. Good. Keep drawing them back ever so slightly if they start to feel, and you know it because the weights come forward a bit if you're not careful. So up and down. Okay, quick rest. While you have your rest, I'll remind you, the next one we're going to do is our upright row. So you're going to have the weights round to the front, bums squeeze, shoulders back, and you're going to bring the weights up to chest level with the elbows out to the side. So again, you've got to try and avoid dropping forward into it. So shoulders back, bum muscles switched on, pull up and down. I want you to think about using your muscles in your back to hold you up when you do these moves. It's going to get stronger, okay? And let's go. Up. Don't drop the arms, lower. Control your moves. If you get into an exercise using weights and you feel like you're throwing your body around, the weight is too heavy, or your technique is poor. You must be in control of the weights. Pulling the shoulders back, lift and lower. How are your reps? Are they as good as before? If your reps don't feel that the technique is very good, go down weight, put the weights down. Must be good technique. Good. Little bum squeeze, make sure those muscles are working. Wiggle your toes around. Good. Few more. Good. Quick rest, and then we're going to do our X's. I'm going to change weights for this one for my shoulders. So our X's, remember, so we go out, upper body weight to X, go down. When you come down, pull the elbows back slightly till you feel the back of the arms working, and that will stretch the biceps out a little bit as well. We're going to go up, and we're going to go down. Again, check that you don't drop forward as you reach up. So if your technique doesn't feel like it's correct, change your weights. So out and out. Up, straight. So it might feel that the weights are a little bit lighter. That's better than poor technique. You can always add weight on another time. If you've got poor technique and you've hurt yourself, you've got to wait for recovery, and that's annoying. You might find if it's a lighter weight, then you just move a little bit quicker, which means you do more reps, so it all balances out. Good. I feel like cabin crew at the moment. Your exits are here and here. They wouldn't let me be cabin crew, I'm not tall enough, I can't put the luggage in the overhead compartments. It's discrimination. I could bring a booster step. I don't suit the American tan tights anyway, it's not for me. Quick rest, and then we've got our bicep curls. I'm going to go up because I know I'm quite good with bicep curls. Shoulders back and down. Now remember, with bicep curl, we're not going to come forward because that's a swing. So we're going to keep the arms close to the body, all the way down, straight arms, and then all the way up to the shoulders. So don't stop halfway and start again, that's cheating. All the way down to a straight arm before you lift. You ready? Shoulders back, here we go. Lift, 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 lower, 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 lower. Go at your pace. Again, if your weight's a little bit light for you, then you'll naturally move a little bit quicker, as long as you're controlled. Good. If your weight's a little bit heavier, then you're going to have that drag as you try and lift, so it'll naturally slow you down a little bit. Don't use heavy weights and try and go quickly, because you will just swing back. Enjoy that feeling, controlling and lifting that arm and it doesn't really want to, as long as it's not hurting you. If you use a weight that is too heavy, you're just going to hurt your elbows. You're going to end up with tennis elbows. Pull up. Slowly down. Good. Use your back muscles to support your weight. Hold yourself up there. Don't drop. Good. Lift. And lower. Good. Quick rest. Then we've got our squat and press. So if you remember this one, bring the weights to your chest level, which throws your weight. So you have to think about your balance. Move your hips back and down. And as you come up, you reach up with one arm. Keeping your shoulder down and the arm comes to the side of your head. And you do it again. So you sit and you push up through the other arm. That's it really. That's all I'm going to tell you. Remember your knees. Don't let your knees drop forward as you sit into that squat. Okay, here we go. Sit back. Drive up through the legs. Reach up. Don't lean back. Again. Sit down. Squeeze and up. Use your back muscles to support your weight as your arm lifts. I don't want you to lean. If you're leaning, the weight is too heavy. You can't control it. Push. Yeah. Sit. And push. See what I mean about your heart working? Even though this isn't high impact work, because we're not jumping around, but your heart is still working hard. Your breathing is maybe a little bit laboured. So that means your lungs are getting stronger, your bones and your muscles are getting stronger, and it means your body is a more efficient burning machine, so you will burn calories better because you have a bigger, eventually you get a bigger muscle to weight ratio, to fat ratio, and you burn calories. Quick rest. Good. Then we've got our deadlifts. Feet a little bit wider apart when we do these, weights round the front, shoulders back. So we hinge at the hip, we keep the back nice and straight. I go to knee level. Some people like to go lower and maybe bend the knees, but for me that makes it feel like I'm going to bend my back, so don't go like there. And then you pull up, bring your bum in so it lines up with your heels, and pull your shoulders back. Over you go, let's go. Use the bum muscles to pull you up, squeeze them. Set your weight over your hips. So I don't go too quick on this one because I really want to use those bum muscles, so I resist coming up. Good. Squeeze, slide those weights up your legs, pull your shoulders back in there. Good. Squeeze. This is a good posture check, the move as well, this one, because it gets you to think about lining the hips, shoulders and head. You just tuck that bum in. Stops you walking like a duck in that shape. Pull up. Really use these bum muscles to pull the cells back in and line you up. Good. Quick rest. Lovely. We're getting through these. Then we've got our bent over row. So one leg forward. And just a bend in that knee to support your weight. And again, hinge at the hip so your back is nice and straight. And the arms come down either side of that front knee. And then you pull your elbows back and you squeeze your elbows together, trying to bring the weights into your armpits. And then you release down to the knee again, don't drop. So your aim is to work between your shoulder blades here. Okay, let's go. Pull back and release. Weight is mainly on the front leg for support, because you're supporting the weight of that torso as it leans forward. Pull back and change legs whenever you want to. Pull your belly button in, especially if you're feeling it in the lower back. We don't want to let the pelvis tilt. Good. And lower the arms, don't drop them. Squeeze your elbows together at the top. Pull the weights as high up into your chest as you can, into your armpits. Relax the neck. Pull back. Good. We're nearly done, you know. Smashing, quick rest. Then we've got our wall squats to do. So you find a bit of wall. If you don't want to do a wall squat, if you don't want to ruin your wall, you can go back to our normal squats if you want to put the weights down and do some usual squats. But if you are using the wall, you're going to move your feet forward a little bit, don't slide, so move your mat out the way. If you've got, I don't know why I brought a mat out, I'm not using it, and then you slide down the wall. Looking for 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee, and with the wall behind you to push against, it's a nice strong position. Okay, down you come, set your feet. You want your shins sort of vertical, so 90-degree angle at the knee and the hip ideally. Squeeze your bum, and you can keep squeezing and releasing these bum muscles if you want to. Push down a little bit into your feet and press your shoulders against the wall. With your hands on your legs, sometimes that's a little bit easier. So if you want to challenge it, cross your arms over your chest. So they're not helping you anymore. You might find you can sit a smidge lower. Remember, you've got to come up though, so don't go too low. Can you feel them working? This is one of the ones where I'm watching the time. Squeeze those bum muscles, push your back against the wall. Yeah, so you start to feel those quads starting to burn a little bit. Alright, put your hands against the wall and walk yourself back up. Don't drop onto your bum. Lovely. Alright, then we've got our lat raises, so we're going to raise our arm out. Pick a weight that you know is not going to tip you over. If in doubt, do it without a weight. We'll do 30 seconds each side, so I want you to keep your shoulders level, feet wide enough apart to feel nice and balanced, and your arm is going to come out to the side. How high it comes depends on your strength. I don't want that. That is not your arm and shoulder doing the work. Okay, let's go. Lift and lower. Don't drop it, lower it. Lift and lower. Keep your shoulders square, abdominals pulled in nice and tight, bum squeezed and tailbone pointing down to the floor. Keep lifting the chest here. Use your back muscles as well as your arm. Okay, switch arms. Lift. And now notice the difference. You're going to have one arm that likes to work a lot more than the other. Good. So this is using all the stabilising muscles around the pelvis, around the back to hold you up as your arms travel. Nearly done. Lovely. Okay, and we're going to finish with our arm swing. So I'm going to go to a lighter weight. Feet parallel, or 1 foot forward if you prefer for this one. Shoulders back, and we're going for our march. So when you see marching, it's done with purpose. Back is nice and straight, and we're going to move the arms. And these muscles down the side are going to stop us dropping around, because you don't see marching like a sack of spuds. Up nice and straight. Are we ready? Have we got the right weight? It might just be our own arms. And we're going to swing. One arm goes up as the other arm goes back. If you want to, you can try one leg forward, not in front of the one, you'll fall over, if that feels a little bit more comfortable for you. But really use your back muscles to hold you up, don't sink into those hips. Swinging purposefully. Good. You'll feel that momentum coming through the body a little bit because there is quite a lot of movement, but you're not letting your body drop about, holding it still. Good. You feel that after all the upper body work we've done. You're done, and that's it. Put your weights down and we'll loosen up. So all the weights do at first is to roll those shoulders. Well done. Forward and back. Just roll them about. Then give yourself a hug and see if you can get your hands a little bit further around your back. And stay there for a second and breathe into your back. Really open up across your back. And then pull the arms out and bring the arms back. Stretching across your chest. Good. You're just going to do a few of those, just to stretch across the front and back. Yes, yes, I've got you, thank you. It's telling me we've finished. Oh no, we've finished. Hug in and stretch out. Okay, we're just going to stretch down the front of the arm. So if you turn, bring your arm up and pull your fingers down to the floor and see if you can pull your fingernails towards your elbow, pulling back. You're not going to use anything else to help you at first, so you're really thinking, it's called an active stretch. You're really thinking about bringing those fingernails towards you. So you're having to really work on lengthening that arm. Then, bring the other hand and just cross it over the hand you want to stretch, so it's giving you something to push against. It's a little bit easier. So you can try the two. You can let go and see and make the arm do it on its own, or you can have your hand there to give it something to push against. Okay, release that arm, do the other one. So first of all, nothing to help. So you've got your arm out in front, it can be lower if you want it to be, and you're pulling your fingernails towards your elbow. Feel that work down the inside of that arm there as it tries to stretch. And then try your hand just across your fingers, your other hand across your fingers, something to push against. Just so you can see what I'm doing. And see which you prefer. For me, not having my hand there makes me work a lot harder on the stretch. Okay, and then just to stretch the chest muscles, put your hands in your back pockets to start with and pull your shoulders back. And you're pulling your elbows together, stretching the chest muscles, and release it, so you're drawing back. You can stay with that, or you can lace your fingers together behind you. As you pull your elbows together, you push your arms down. Whichever one works better. Hands in the back pocket, pulling the elbows together, or hands behind you, pulling the elbows together and pushing the hands down. Stretching across the front of the shoulder and the chest muscles. If you're okay with that and you haven't got any injuries in your shoulder, once you've pushed your arms down, squeeze your belly and keep your back upright and move your arms away from your body, and that will stretch out the biceps as well. So you pull back and down and then you lift away from your body. Don't lean forward. Good. Nice stretch for those shoulders and biceps. One more. And then to do the triceps, the back of the arm, you're going to put one hand on the back of your neck with your elbow close to your side of your head, and your other hand just sits on your elbow and helps guide your hand a little bit further, like you've got an inch between your shoulder blades. Arms quite close, and try and keep your head up rather than dropping down, so you don't want to press on the neck. And you're just looking for that stretch down the arm. And change sides, so you put your hands sort of on the nape of your t-shirt, other hand comes across and just guides the elbow back a little bit, so your hand goes a little bit further down. If you go too far, then you end up looking down, so you only want to go far enough that you can still look forward and just getting that stretch down the arm. And release, and just roll the shoulders. I'm going to do a ragdoll just to loosen the hips. Anybody got any osteoporosis, then you don't do ragdoll, it's not safe. So what I want you to do is to find a bit of wall and just lean against the wall, so you've got a stretch in your back. So any osteoporosis, any slip disc where you're not supported, you use the wall and just push against it to get a back stretch. But the rest of you, tuck your chin in, rock a little bit on your feet and make sure the weight isn't in your heels, it's in the middle of your feet, and then slowly roll down. Take your time and allow your back to stretch. And at any point where you think, oh, that's a good stretch, stay there a little bit. Rock on your feet a little bit, let that tension release, and then go a bit further. So you get that feeling of stretching down the back of the legs a little bit. Bum goes up as head goes down. When you get to a point where you think that's quite tight, just a little rock on your feet will help you release, and then you can carry on down. Just taking your time, bending your knees if you want to, the legs haven't got to be straight. But I want you to feel that you're taking the pressure out of that lower spine. You're going to stay down there a little bit. I want you to stretch the vertebrae, just hanging. And while you're down there, draw circles with your arms and loosen up your shoulders a little bit. Let the weight come into the front of your feet a little bit more. Push your hips up. And your shoulders should feel completely weightless. These arms should feel like they've got no weight in them. They're just rocking around, they're just loose. And that helps just to loosen the arms while we're there, the shoulders. You can draw rude words, nobody will know. Okay, put your hands on your legs, tighten your belly, and use your back muscles to pull you up from tailbone all the way up through the spine till you build yourself up, one bone over the other. Feel them pull you up. And then you're looking forward, your shoulders are probably up around your ears, so pull them back and down. Little twist, turn to one side, turn to the other side. Good. I think we're about done, so give yourself a pat on the back, you can reach now. You're done, thank you very much, I hope you enjoy that, let me know, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.